In the stillness before dawn, there exists a sacred invitation, a whisper from the universe, a breath from the divine, calling you to remember who you are, not the roles you play, not the masks you wear, but the soul underneath, the eternal fire, the inner philosopher, the quiet warrior of truth. Plato wrote that the soul is like a chariot, pulled by reason and desire, and guided by the hand of will. To live rightly, you must take the reins. You must guide your passions with purpose and steer your mind toward the light of wisdom. This is not a path for the many, but for the awakened few, those who refuse to sleepwalk through life, those who will not be bought by comfort, those who dare to ask, what is the highest way I can live? The answer is never in applause, nor in gold, nor in fleeting power, but in the harmony of your actions with your highest values, in the quiet alignment of your soul with the eternal good. There will be days when you forget, when you stumble, when the world seduces you into fear or vanity or rage. But remember, each sunrise is a return. Each breath is a chance to begin again. Each act of virtue is a hymn to the gods. Let your life be such a hymn. Let your words lift. Let your eyes see truly. Let your hands build that which lasts. Let your silence be as noble as your speech. Let your presence remind others of what is possible. Aristotle said that excellence is not an act, but a habit that we become what we repeatedly do. So practice courage until it becomes your nature. Practice kindness until it becomes your breath. Practice patience until it becomes your rhythm. Do not rush your becoming. The oak was once an acorn. The river was once a drop. The sage was once a wanderer. Let your growth unfold like morning light, steady, certain, quietly glorious. Heraclitus taught that everything flows, that all is in flux, and so you too must flow. Not resist change, but ride it with grace, to bend without breaking, to transform without losing your soul. Life is a series of deaths and resurrections. Egos fall, dreams crumble, bodies age, but the true self, that divine spark, remains. Nurture that spark. Meditate on what truly matters. Simplify your path. Speak only what is necessary. Consume only what is noble. Move only in the direction of truth. You are a philosopher, not in words, but in deeds. Not by speaking of virtue, but by choosing it. Not by quoting the sages, but by becoming one. Be like Marcus Aurelius, who wrote not to be admired, but to remind himself to stay awake, to remember what the gods require, to live as if each day were his last and eternity were watching. You are watched by your own conscience, by the eyes of your ancestors, by the hearts of those you love. Let them see in you the clarity of a soul on fire with purpose. Let them see a life that burns clean, that stands tall, that radiates peace like the midday sun. This is the way. This is the light. This is the eternal return to the center. Walk it well. There is no higher call than the call to virtue, no greater quest than the one that leads inward, no richer reward than a soul at peace with itself. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living, and so you must examine, not in haste, not with harsh judgment, but with sacred attention, gently turning the mirror of your mind toward your actions, your motives, your heart. Ask yourself, did I live today with courage? Did I speak with truth? Did I act with love? Did I carry the weight of this life with dignity? These questions are not burdens. They are blessings. They are lanterns in the dark. They are bridges to the eternal, to the divine law that governs all things. Epictetus taught that you must know what is within your control and what is not, and surrender all else to the order of nature. Let go of what you cannot steer, your past, their opinions, the winds of fortune, and take up your true work, your thoughts, your choices, your character. Character is destiny. This is what the ancients knew, not in theory, but in fire, in exile, in battle, in silence. And so must you know it, not just in books, but in sweat, in restraint, in the sacred stillness between desire and action. There is a kind of strength that does not shout. It is quiet, steady, rooted in timeless truth. It is the strength to be kind when anger rises, to listen when pride wants to speak, to remain still when fear wants to run. This is the strength of the sage. This is the strength of the soul. In every moment, you are either building your temple or tearing it down. Every word, every gesture, every thought is a stone laid in your inner structure. Make it holy, make it strong, make it worthy of the gods who live in silence and light. You were not born to consume, to chase status, to echo the noise of the crowd. You were born to illuminate, to purify, to remember. Remember what? That you are eternal, that you are more than skin and name and history, that within you is the same fire that burns in the stars, that your breath is borrowed from the wind of Olympus, that your conscience is the voice of divinity made flesh. So listen deeply, not to the clamor of the world, but to the inner call that says rise, endure, shine. There is no moment too small for virtue, no corner too dark for light, no failure too great to begin again. Start now, where you are with what you have. Begin the sacred ascent back to your original nature, your soul of reason, your heart of fire, your mind of clarity. Let your life be your philosophy. Let your days be your testimony. Let your silence be full of strength. Let your walk be steady and sure. You are the guardian of your soul, the builder of your destiny, the child of wisdom, the brother of courage, the daughter of the divine. So live as such, and let nothing shake you. The path of virtue is narrow, yet it is the only path that leads to freedom. Not the freedom of doing what you please, but the higher freedom of no longer being a slave to what pleases you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and so you must choose your thoughts with care, for they become your speech, your actions, your habits, your fate. Each thought is a seed. You can plant bitterness, or you can plant truth. You can plant fear, or you can plant faith. You can plant chaos, or you can plant harmony. What you grow in the garden of your mind will one day be the landscape of your life. So weed out what is false, what is petty, what is vain, and water the roots of discipline, of gratitude, of reason. For reason is your greatest ally. It is the divine spark within you, the Logos, the ordering principle that shines even in the darkest night. It is what made the Stoics unshakable. It is what made the wise serene. Even in suffering, they did not seek comfort. They sought clarity. They did not run from pain. They met it with purpose. They did not demand that the world be gentle. They trained themselves to be strong. And so must you. Because life will not bow to your preferences, but you can train your soul to bow to wisdom. Ask yourself this: what do I fear? And why? Is it death? Is it rejection? Is it failure? Is it being misunderstood? Now look again. Are these things truly terrible, or are they simply uncomfortable? Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgment about them. You can fear the storm, or you can become the one who learns to sail through it." Fear is the child of attachment. When you want too much, when you cling too hard, you suffer. When you release, when you trust the flow of nature, you become free. And in that freedom, you can act with excellence, without need for applause, without fear of loss. You can become what the Greeks called the eudaimon, the blessed soul, the flourishing being, living in harmony with reason, with virtue, with the divine will. Do not wait for the world to calm before you act. Do not wait for others to be kind before you forgive. Do not wait for certainty before you commit. The wise act from principle, not from preference, not from comfort, not from applause. Let your heart be ruled by courage. Let your mind be ruled by wisdom. Let your life be ruled by virtue. You are not here to win arguments, but to live truth. You are not here to collect pleasures, but to build peace. You are not here to be seen, but to become light. So walk the path, even if it is steep, even if it is lonely, even if the world mocks your calm. Walk it still, because it is the way of the soul, returning home. In the silence of the early dawn, when the world is still and the winds have yet to rise, you can hear the voice of your soul. It is not loud, it is not urgent, but it is eternal. A whisper of purpose, a call to greatness, a reminder that you are more than flesh and bone, more than name and title, more than the passing shadows of pleasure and pain. You are the bearer of a divine fire, a guardian of reason, a child of nature, and a servant of truth. The sages of old knew this. Heraclitus spoke of the Logos, that silent wisdom which governs all things. He said that character is destiny, that one's fate is not written by stars, but carved by the choices we make again and again in the quiet corners of the soul. So, what do you choose today? Will you answer the call to discipline? Will you rise above distraction? Will you return to what is essential? Or will you drift like so many, swept by the tides of emotion, chained by the illusions of the crowd? The crowd says follow your heart, but the wise say train your heart. The crowd says chase happiness, but the wise say cultivate excellence. The crowd says avoid pain, but the wise say grow through it. Every moment offers you the chance to step away from noise and toward meaning. Every breath invites you to anchor yourself, not in the shifting winds of opinion, but in the stillness of principle. Look at the oak tree. It bends not for every storm, because its roots run deep. So too must your roots run deep, in virtue, in patience, in courage, in self-control. There will be days when life feels like too much, when burdens stack high and the mind trembles. But remember, you are not alone. You walk with the strength of the ancients, with Socrates who chose truth over comfort, with Epictetus who found freedom in chains, with Marcus who ruled an empire but served his soul. And now, it is your time, your test, your trial. Let your mind be your fortress. Let your character be your compass. Let your actions be your offering. You may stumble, but you must rise. You may fall short, but you must try again. You may be afraid, but you must act with courage. Nonetheless, this is not a path of perfection. It is a path of perseverance, and every step walked with intention is a victory, a triumph of spirit over chaos, of meaning over noise, of soul over shadow. So rise with each morning, with each challenge, with each heartbeat, because this world does not need more noise. It needs light, and you were made to carry it. Walk steadily now, for the path before you is long, and the world around you uncertain. But let your heart not be troubled, for the one who walks with virtue never walks alone. Each step becomes a lesson, each pause becomes a prayer, and each breath becomes an invitation to live deliberately. You are not meant to race against time. You are meant to walk with it, to shape your days with awareness, to meet each dawn not with haste, but with readiness. Socrates taught us that the unexamined life is not worth living. So examine not just the moments of triumph, but also the moments of silence, the moments of confusion, the moments when you are tested, For it is there in the crucible of hardship that the soul is forged and the mind refined. Let your thoughts be clean. Let your speech be calm. Let your deeds be worthy, and you will begin to taste the deep, still joy that no possession can give and no failure can take. You do not need to be a ruler to be great. You need only to rule yourself. You do not need applause to be worthy. You need only to act in truth. You do not need more. You need less. Less noise, less attachment, less fear. For when the soul is lightened of its burdens, it begins to rise. The Stoics knew this. They spoke of amor fati, the love of one's fate, not merely to accept it, but to embrace it, to see each event not as a curse, but as a classroom, to understand that what you experience is exactly what you needed to grow. So, if you face hardship, meet it with resilience. If you face rejection, meet it with strength. If you face confusion, meet it with curiosity. There is wisdom behind the veil of every trial, and the one who endures, who seeks not escape but understanding, will find it. You were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness, and greatness is quiet. It is not built in spotlights, but in unseen choices. It is built in forgiveness, in patience, in service, in daily discipline. When the noise of the world grows loud, return to the inner sanctuary, that sacred place within you where stillness speaks. There you will remember who you are, not what others say you are, not what the world wants you to be, but what your soul knows. You are a guardian of truth, a flame in the wind, a quiet force of courage and clarity. Stand in that place, return to it again and again, and you will live, not as a mere echo of the times, but as a beacon for what is timeless. If you felt inspired by our journey through the Hellenic horizons, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.